Oh, there you go.
Holy shit.
Long time no see, gentlemen.
How the heck are you?
Oh, over here in beautiful Montrose, Colorado.
Heck yeah. How long have you been out there?
2 weeks.
Nice.
Nice, man.
2 months. 2 months up in beautiful Billings, Montana.
Are you in the trailer right now?
Yeah.
Nice.
Show us your digs. Is it as small as the other one when you were in
It's
Parker?
Slightly bigger.
Oh, can you turn around?
So the office is as big as the other one, but it does have conference room.
There you go.
There you
Nice.
go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
All by myself. And the GC next to me has a double wide stuck together, so they're huge.
Nice. That's all. Who's the GC out there?
Moltz?
Okay. Nice. Nice. Well, we'll just get right into it. Logan Sharp is a friend of ours, and he's kind of been a jack of all trades, if you will. I mean, you were a diesel mechanic, correct?
Yeah, I've done a lot of jobs in my life. Diesel mechanic, sleigh rides, worked in 2 different lumber yards, was a heavy highway mechanic, drove ready mix, logging, build base case trim, custom build, commercial build, now industrial.
All right. Well,
just got to try a little bit of everything.
great to hear from you. We can end the podcast there. That's a lot of experience. No, I'm just kidding. No, appreciate you coming on, man. This is a surprise for me. Cody didn't tell me who was coming on, so good to see you.
Oh, nice.
Good to hear from you. Appreciate you coming on. Have you listened to the podcast?
Yeah, I listened to a couple episodes.
Sweet. So, yeah, I guess starting off, tell us what you're doing right now and how long you've been doing it and what your day-to-day looks like.
So right now I'm what's the exact term? Resident project representative for Burns McDonnell, a huge, massive engineering firm based out of Kansas City. I'm in the water division. We have, I think, 7 or 8 global practices: water, transmission distribution, like power lines. We have power, which is like power plants, transportation. We have, and if there's engineering involved, we're got our nose into it. I'm out here actually in Montrose working on a wastewater treatment plant addition. Basically, we're adding a anaerobic basin. We're doing a lot of the old systems that were put in 25 years ago, changing giant screw pumps out to high flow electric pumps, changing out UV filters because the UV filter system out here is bad, and that's the final step. So, yeah, just working out here. I've been with this company for 2-3 months now, something around there. Time flies when you're having fun. Day to day, just going through plans, out doing daily reports, and just monitoring what the GC's doing, checking. I was checking rebar splices today, watching what they're doing with the UV filter, just making sure that they're sticking to prints, basically, is my job. Very different, not having any say in anything.
Has that been the biggest transition from leaving the GC world to going into?
It's challenging at times for me because I always want to be in it, and I have no say over schedule. I have no say over what they're doing. Just quality control.
Sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much the biggest. Plans are plans. Daily reports are the same. Other than that, for the most part, it's pretty familiar. Rebar looks like rebar. Concrete looks like concrete.
How bad do you just want to jump in and be like,
did I lose you guys?
Oh, no, I was just going to ask you before you cut out, how bad do you want to jump in and start running stuff? Or is it kind of nice just to be like a step removed?
I want to jump in and start running just because it's like my
nature
go-to. But I don't have that much stress. I monitor. They haven't. We're just getting going out here. Up in Billings, there was we're working on a raw water plant. And yeah, there was a couple of things. I just note it, put it in the non-conformance log and check on it. And I mean, stress levels have shot down dramatically. But it's hard because you want to I don't know, you want to be in there getting your hands dirty and being part of it. So it's kind of weird being an outsider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine. Why don't you we'll touch more on your current position, but why don't you take us way back to little 18-year-old Logan? Or I guess when did you join the workforce?
I was 15 years old. I was doing whatever a kid does during summer. And my dad came up to me and said, "What are you doing this summer?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to hang out with my friends." He said, "Wrong. I got you a job."
What was that job?
So that was working for a guy. Oh, what the heck was his name? He's dead now. He was a GC. He was actually building Summerwood, which is across from where I grew up in Summit Cove. He was developing a bunch of houses out there. For the first 2 weeks, I still feel dumb about this. I didn't realize at the time. He had me picking weeds in empty lots that they were going to put houses on. So they were just going to dig them up in like 2 months anyways. So it was like the ultimate busy work for $4 an hour or something like that. And then that's where I first started. Like, they had me running a hammer drill for a little bit and learning that you can't just hold the trigger and run a screw, and you kind of have to know what you're doing a little bit. And then from there, I pretty much worked ever since. From there, where did I go to? From there, got into working in lumberyards in the wintertime because bought a truck, had to pay insurance and gas on that whole thing, and it's never cheap even back then. So I started doing that. My brother started doing sleigh rides at Country Boy Mine, and I hated retail because I was actually working inside in the retailer, the lumberyard, not building loads or anything. So I jumped to doing sleigh rides in the wintertime, which was probably the most fun job I've had in my life. Super easy. I mean, everybody's usually happy because they're spending, $200 a person to go sit on a sleigh with horses and all magical in the mountains.
What was the day-to-day, the ins and outs of that job?
Get off school, go there, brush the horses down, put their tack on them. We stabled them about 2 miles away. We actually ran on the Breckenridge golf course. So we ran 3 teams, 2 Belgian and a Percheron team. So put the tack on, take them over, get them all set next to the trailer, all pretty with their, red velvet little Hanes and all that stuff, looking all cute. Hook them up to the sleigh. You go out and do a 40-minute sleigh ride, 2 stops. So you do a total of, I think it was like 1.5 miles. So the horses weren't killing it, but they were also pulling 30 people in a giant sleigh behind them.
Dang.
So you'd stop them, take the people back, and they'd go have dinner inside the Breckenridge Golf Course clubhouse and do all the bougie stuff. And people would come up to you, pass you $100 bills and tips and whatnot. So
just to pet the horses, or
just
guys?
The tag at the end of the sleigh ride was, if you enjoyed your trip, feel free to kiss your horse and tip your guide. So
that's awesome.
Or there's some girls that are like, yeah, you can kiss the guide and tip the horse. I don't care.
There you go.
Yeah, that was a good job. And then did that for 2-3 years in high school. In the summertime, I started working at LG Everest. Got my CDL, Class B. Started driving a ready mix truck. Oh, forgot the logging was in there too, but that was for my football coach. Our football coach ran a logging company, and it was low impact logging. So we would hike into the woods. They would fell all the trees and cut them up into like 10-foot sections, and we would man haul them out of the woods. I've never been in better shape. It was phenomenal. Terrible work, but phenomenal shape.
Damn.
Yeah, I drove ready mix for a couple years. That was also a pretty gravy job. I mean, people complain, and I'm like, you shift gears and you have to put on 3 chutes max. I'm like, sorry, I got to shift. Oh no. So did that for a couple years, then went to school in Grand Junction after I graduated high school. for automotive and diesel mechanic. That's when I went back to Everest and did a heavy highway, worked on their trucks and stuff, and giant loaders and cranes, and worked on all their giant pumps. That was pretty fun for a little bit. Came back to school, then got out of school, started working at an auto shop for 6 years, working on American domestic, everything from a 550 down to Mazdas, and obviously Colorado's tons of Subarus. Got really good at Subarus. Then from there, moved up to Fort Collins to go back to school because I didn't want to be a mechanic anymore because I started shaking like a dog shit in a peach seed. So, and while I was up there going to school, I was actually just doing prelims. I was going to go do construction management actually, but a guy I grew up with, his dad ran a custom home builder up there and called me out of the blue. He's like, hey, it's like, I'm looking for somebody to train up to, work with me and help build houses, be a superintendent. He's like, you're interested? And I'm like, well, kind of bypassing the whole school here, so I'm just going to try it. Then custom homes for 5 years, then jumped to Confluence for 4.5, then Vertex doing multifamily, Vertex for 2.5, back to Confluence for a hot spit, and now I'm here.
That is probably one of the most entertaining and craziest professional careers I think we've had on the podcast.
It was always funny. I worked with the Vertex guys, like, this job sucks. I'm like, man, I've worked a lot of worse jobs than this. I'm like, it's not that bad.
Now I'm curious, what's the worst job out of all those, in your opinion?
The one I hated the most was working retail at the lumberyard.
Sure. What was the day-to-day about it? Logging.
It's just monotonous. Like, you're inside, you don't really get to see sunshine. People ask a bunch of dumb questions. Like, I had a 2-week task was repricing all the bolts and nuts in the hardware store. You know how many there are? There's a shitload.
Yeah.
And I had to go up, redo the pricing calcs, bring down, relabel them. I'm like, this is some tedious work.
Was that hourly or commission based or both?
Hourly.
Okay. Damn. That'd be terrible.
It was boring. It was super boring. Like, the most fun you had was like kids come in and they're in the plumbing section. You're like, oh, you guys are building a pipe? I'm like, you need this stuff here. Don't forget the filter.
Building a bong.
several times. And like, there were kids I knew, and I'm like, guys, you're not building a pipe with that. Like, grab these things. I'm like, you don't want to use copper, you're gonna burn it up. I'm like, use cast fittings. Hooked them up.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, it sounds like you've from what I know, you've worked at some of these companies for a significant amount of time. Why? Mm-hmm. And from what I know, all your moves have kind of been, for the most part, your choice, and you've jumped around a lot trying to find this position that you're going to do next, basically. Why do companies hold on to Logan for so long? What do you think is your most defining trait that makes you valuable to all these different companies?
I mean, I think I bring a positive attitude and a good work ethic. I mean, I try to always be there, not miss. I mean, just try to solve problems and be a team player. I think really at the end of the day is what it comes down to. I mean, I just try to be positive and not look at things as problems and look at them as, mountains, not mountains to climb, but, just bumps in the road that you can get around.
And what's your overall take on just the trades right now in general? You've gotten to work with a lot of different tradesmen, a lot of different types of trades, and all kinds of different. What am I trying to say? Areas of the industry, if you want to call it that. Where do you think we're at? What do we need?
We need tradesmen. I mean, we've gone away. Everything's piecework now, or most of it's piecework. I mean, you have very few plumbers that are plumbers for 10 plus years that know. I mean, everybody that gets their master's starts their own company. I mean, there's a few, you have them out there, but the guys doing boots on the ground work just don't either have the care or this is my work and I want to look at. I feel like, especially as a piece worker, your job is to get in there, shit out the work as fast as possible and be gone. And you're not going to come back and fix it. That's why plumbing companies have 8 guys on staff at every site just to go fix up all the mess ups that other people do. I feel like we've slipped into, it's such a fast driven, fast paced game that, there's not, I don't know if it's not the demand for true tradesmen anymore, or it's just that, it moves so fast that these guys never have time to really learn. I mean, the stuff you see out in the field nowadays, some of the stuff you see is shocking. You're like, I mean, why would you ever think this is acceptable? It's like, oh, I did it before and it was fine. I'm like, well, that's not a good answer to that question.
Have you seen a big jump in quality for going from multifamily sector to industrial? Is it a big difference?
Obviously it's only been 3 months, but like the company I was working with up in Billings, I mean, it's all in house, it's all vetted. I mean, the company I work for now, I mean, they vet every sub hard. I mean, my brother just was in Louisiana last week going to vet a concrete sub because they're trying to do a giant subcontract with them. And yeah, they do like months of vetting, they call on other companies, and it's more of a union. Now, the job I'm on here is not union, but up in Billings, it was all union workers. And I was always an anti-union guy, and I'm like, well, maybe this is what needs to come back a little bit.
Why do you say that? Can you elaborate?
It breeds, from what I've seen, it breeds more of a professional person. And maybe it's just the team I was working with, but it seems that they are more caring about their work, more, they're representing more than just a company they can jump to and from in 6 months, 8 months, a year,
It's more pride for the trade.
They're a member of a bigger organization that they're kind of representing.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I've never been a union fan. Never.
Well,
and I'm like, well,
they're just notoriously hard to work with on certain situations. They have a specific set of rules, and the union backs them with their process and their breaks and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's a bad thing. People should get their breaks and they should follow a certain set of rules. So just as a GC, it's I think the stigma is it's just they're harder to work with. They're more rigid. They're less flexible. But all my union experience has been, pretty good. I guess the biggest one is like elevator companies, but we all kind of have been through that.
They're if they're just a joy to deal with all the time.
They're just tough. I mean, it's just tough. It's a hard scope of work, and there's so many people involved, and you're dealing with a very dangerous activity, building an elevator. So yeah, they have to be union, or else you're going to get all these fly-by-nighters coming in, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot of, and we'll see. I mean, I think we're also pretty bloated in Colorado now too, with, a lot of companies for a long time have gotten away with kind of doing a lot of shady stuff just because the work was always there. Mm-hmm. And I think, we're seeing a slowdown. I know track homes are grinding into a hole, and, I think a lot of these companies will have to start trimming fat, and I'll have to, start reevaluating on, all right, what are we standing for? Is it fast? Is it a good product? We can do both, but you have to have the right people in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because what's the old saying? You have schedule, quality, and budget. You can only have two of them.
It's the three-legged stool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I hope we see a turn. I mean, I remember, pre-08, I was obviously involved. My dad's been in lumber sales, and my stepdad's done construction, and I was always kind of knew a lot of people. And pre-08, I met guys. They were framers for 6 months, and all of a sudden they're a framing company. It's like, well, no, but they all kind of disappeared after 08, and I'm like, well, it seems like we kind of need a reset to filter out some of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. For Burns McDonald, are you more of like an owner's rep, or what is the actual?
Yeah, I'm basically their on-site person. I'm the only Burns rep person on site full time.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm the owner's rep. Not really doing budgeting stuff, just mostly QC.
Sure.
And just monitoring schedule.
Right.
Like I'm the go-between because Burns and Mac is my guesstimate 95% engineers.
Dang.
So I'm the go-between side. One of the things when after I got hired on, it's like how to frame an RFI for an engineer, right? You got to kind of it's like what we went through. You got to tailor your RFI to the person you're sending it to get the response that you want.
Sure.
Need.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, I guess that's a good segue. I've been wanting to ask you this. What's how do I word it? I guess how did your mindset shift from being a superintendent to working for Burns and Mac as an owner's rep?
It's more so. Let me think about that for a sec. I mean, I'm not worried about what they're doing every day. I'm worried about how they're doing it.
That makes sense.
I guess more so the day-to-day operations of what they're doing, I don't really care what they're doing every day. I'm just going to go watch and just make sure they're doing whatever they're doing correctly.
Sure. Is it more so what is the outcome going to be driven?
Yeah.
More so.
Yep. It's all quality, and I'm kind of one of the main points of contact with City of Montrose of like, all right, if Molt has a question, I'm going to City of Montrose like, hey, here's what we think is right, but this is your plant. You're going to run it for the next 20 years.
Sure.
What's your guys' thoughts? Because, at the end of the day, on something like this, it's, we have our prints and our specs and all that, but it's, you're the ones literally running this plant. We need your input because, we can build it to blueprint 100%. Then in 5 years, if you don't like something, then, we're gone, buddy. SOL.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'd say the biggest is it's not so much day-to-day operations is gone. I'm, looking more at like, all right, what's the splice on this rebar? How many times are they tying off? Like, and then safety, Burns and Mac, number one thing is safety. So it's like just monitoring around like 100% safety all the time. And I have cut resistant gloves that I have to wear 100% of the time in the field, full PPE all the time. Eye protection and just monitoring everybody out there. It's like, if I see somebody out there without, I don't care if they're walking on the side, if they're out there without safety glasses, like go back to the trailer and grab them.
Right.
It's a no-go.
It's a good thing.
But yeah.
Do you think it's a good thing in your opinion?
Yeah, I do. It's definitely, it's kind of been mentioned before in internal and Birds and Mac, like people kind of get sick of it because like every meeting starts with a safety topic.
Interesting.
Every meeting of every single, no matter what, it's safety 101. And it's good in talk. It's hard in practice all the time too, because, everything wants to be 100% safe. It's not fully feasible all the time to do everything 100% safe. That's not the real world we work in.
Sure.
Right. You can help people to a point, but if some dude go climb up a ladder and stayed up on a single 2x4 not tied off, you can't watch everything every second of the day. I mean, at a certain point, people have to care about themselves.
Yeah. Well, there's some truth to that, you know? I guess a lot of truth to that. You need to have, it's like accountability, you know, for your own self. That makes sense.
Well, it's like when I was with Verdicts and we had OSHA come by the site and I was talking to him, and maybe I shouldn't have been asking questions, but I was. And I'm like, you know, at a certain point, I'm like, if we put the people through the training, we've done it multiple times, we've talked to them, I'm like, if we can't find people to replace them, we have to put people out there. And I'm like, what? At what point is it not on us anymore and on them to take their own safety into account?
Sure. Yeah,
You know,
no, that makes sense.
You know, or his buddies or whoever. I mean, we can't be everybody's safety person at all the time. I mean, they have to personally want to be safe. It's, you know, at the end of the day, it's a building. It's not worth getting hurt or dying over.
What was the response from the OSHA representative?
You should do more safety walks and you should educate them. And if not, then just boot them off site and that's it. I'm like, well, yes, but can't.
Not super realistic. I mean,
no, you just.
Yeah, I mean, there's always room for more training and more visibility on site, but I agree with you. There has to be a line, right, to where the individual is held responsible.
Yep.
As
100%
well.
Agreed. I mean,
so if the company provides the proper training, the proper equipment, yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, because we see it every day. Every single day we see a safety violation.
Yeah.
It's you know, how much is how much is OSHA actually doing by just popping out to a job site and in that single moment, you know, fining people? I guess the fear of that helps. It has to an extent.
The most unsafe stuff I ever see is on track homes, and I've never heard of OSHA hitting up a track home unless there's a death. And dude, custom homes, the stuff I saw on custom homes would never fly. I mean, we put a guy in I don't know what I should say. Let's put a guy in a telehandler with a window and lift him up 55 feet.
In a box, right?
Yeah.
Piece of plywood on the forks.
Yeah.
But yeah, then and I didn't know. I was still young at the time, and then I got into like safety, and I'm like, oh, that was like huge no. But nobody ever stopped or checked or cared. Like it was just whatever. You just do whatever.
That is pretty interesting.
You know, and if you really want to make a difference, I think they need to start at the bottom. Unfortunately, the little guys are going to take a couple hits, maybe reduce their fines so they're not. What's the new, what's it called? Where you knowingly do it at $160,000 or $172,000. Like maybe hit them a little less, but
yeah,
you need to start at the bottom and work up. You know, you need to have the employees buy in before the employer.
100%. I mean, it should. I mean, some people should have common sense, though. You know, stop, think. Don't cut a corner. Nothing's that important. Those conversations, you know, but I don't know.
As the not late great, but the ex-fire chief of Castle Rock told me one time, you can't baby-proof the world.
True.
You just can't do it. There's no way. Some people are just going to do dumb stuff and have bad things happen. I mean, unfortunate, but I just don't know how you make a world 100% safe.
I mean, that's a very good statement.
Saws, lumber, grains, and it's just I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, and it only takes witnessing one accident or one close call to realize, like, holy shit, this is for real. Do you have any stories just safety related that are worth sharing for people to hear?
My one would be with it was with a beam saw, but circular saws in general. Always make sure you put your chocks under them right or have them on the stands right so they won't pinch. I had a guy in a site up in Breckenridge was running a beam saw. And he was cutting in the center with his two dunnage on each side of it, and it pinched. And the beam saw was running like a 2.5 foot, 3 foot blade, and it pinched, shot back, missed his femoral, wrapped around his leg, and came out the other side. And I showed up like 2 minutes after it happened, so there's blood, and he's getting rushed off to the job site because it had bound, and he went to push on it, and it just kicked back on him.
Damn.
I was like, that's rough. And then, yeah, that's probably the biggest. And then, I don't know, I've seen it a couple times is, diabetic seizures. Like, people don't need to drink 11 energy drinks to get through a day. If you do, you probably need to evaluate your sleep or see a doctor, excuse me, or something, because
As Nick crushes his mini Alani.
You gotta get the little guys.
those are semi-healthy. I mean, I'm talking about the guys that are slamming 5 Rockstar 240s for breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's just health. I've been fat for the last couple of years. I'm trying to get less fat, but
are you're referring to the same incident that the drywaller? Oh yeah, that was bad. Yeah, he almost died on site.
Mm-hmm.
He was having
he was like, I was talking to the EMT, and the guy's like, yeah, his blood sugar was like syrup.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, just and it's a thing in the industry, right? Like, you see the construction worker breakfast, it's a roller dog and a white monster.
It's kind of like a badge of honor, unfortunately.
Yeah. You're a puss if you don't go out there and slam 2 energy drinks, and it's like, no, don't do that. Yeah. I mean, they taste good. I'm a sucker for a Red Bull, blue Red Bull, but I'm trying to not.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a sucker for caffeine too.
It's so easy to get dependent on, and then you have a life, you have wives and kids, and you don't sleep at night, and then you're out on a job site, and it's just so convenient nowadays,
right?
You go, hell, the energy drink section of the gas station is the biggest part of it now for drinks.
God, they have such good deals too.
And
you're like, I just need one today.
They're delicious too. They make them so good.
They do.
They make them so good.
They're incredible. They're absolutely incredible.
I mean, heck, Red Bull sponsors. Red Bull doesn't advertise except by sponsoring extreme sports.
It's true. Red Bull does give you wings. What were you doing with the lights?
Oh, I was just getting blinded over here.
No.
I had to turn them down.
I'll pull the hat down.
So, Logan, if you were to go back to young Logan, what advice would you give yourself?
Young Logan, don't dick off so much in school. Pay more attention.
Can you break that down?
What?
Is there a reason? Why do you say that?
Because I took the long, hard way in construction to get where I've been. I mean, I've had to do multiple 50, 60, 70-hour weeks for years, and I feel like I could have cut some hard years out of my life and jump-started myself probably by at least 5 or 6 years, and got myself farther ahead than I have. I mean, I kind of, I guess it's the badge honor people. Like, I came up through the trades, and I'm like, well, why if you don't have to? I mean, yeah, it's cool to know the hard work, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter for the job. As an RPR, it doesn't matter if I know how to cut the bottom off a storefront door. No, doesn't do me any good. So I just study harder, and then I don't know, like, maybe make more time. I was a live to work guy for a long, long time. I still feel weird, like, taking vacation, or if I have to call out sick, I still feel weird about it, like, just guilty. It's like, no, you shouldn't do that. Like, live your life, work your job, do a good job, but don't burn yourself out on it. because there's times to work and times to not, right? I think there's always parts of a project where you're going to have to put in long time and long days and all that. But when it's not there, enjoy it.
Yeah, burnout's a real thing. We've talked about it multiple times on this podcast, but you don't really understand it until you experience it, and people handle it in different ways. But it's inevitable. If you are working, 50, 60, 70 hour weeks back to back to back for years, it's going to catch up with you. So, I do think that's good advice. PTO is a part of your compensation. So I always recommend taking that time to recharge the batteries and stay fresh. I mean, you see it in the guys that like you say, live to work. Your production just goes down the shitter over time. So you do have to find a way to recharge. What's a specific way that you recharge the batteries on a personal level?
Generally on the weekends, back when I was over in the Front Range, I'd, go hang with my brother and my nephews, go dink around with them, four-wheeling, shooting. I used to live real close to a sporting clay area that I'm going to really miss for a couple years. And then just, I don't know, I'm a tinker. Like, I got a garage. I was a mechanic. I got a full toolbox. So I was always wrenching on some piece of crap I decided to get for free. And I could fix this. And then some of them are still sitting for yard art, but some of them are going.
You never went with the old lawnmower, or what were you gonna do?
Lawnmower races?
Yeah. I
have a motor, and I finally got a welder, so I can cut the frame on that and stretch it. But that's gonna be put on the back burner. But yes, that's still out there. Out there.
You can't take any of your projects on the road with you?
No, shockingly, they don't travel too well in carry-ons. I don't know.
Be hilarious. You just have your truck.
Over here, though.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Well, heck, I'm so close. I mean, Gunnison's an hour, Telluride's an hour. Me and my brother just drew for Unit 76, which is over by Creed, which is an hour and a half from here. So I'm going to go. I don't know where I'll go next. I mean, basically, I can go anywhere in the Western U.S. except for we don't do any work in Utah, a little bit in Nevada. We don't do any work in California. Other than that, I mean, I could be in Oklahoma in a year and a half or somewhere where it's, dusty and boring. So I was like, yeah, might as well get out and explore while I'm here.
Is there anything that you've learned in the first 3 months, advice-wise, that you'd give to someone that's going into a traveling position, even short-term or long-term travel?
You don't need as much as you think you need.
What does that mean?
You can live with a lot less. Like, my first week flying up there, I had a suitcase and a carry-on and my backpack just full to the brim with clothes and blah, blah, blah. Like, all this stuff. I flew back up because I get a home trip every month. I flew back up. My carry-on was half full. My check bag was half full. Like, the hotel had a washer and dryer. I took 3 pairs of pants up and I washed them. The first time I took like 6 pairs of pants and tons of shirts. And I was like, why am I dealing with all this stuff? Like, I don't, and I looked at like what I was washing a week and I'm like, I don't need the other 10 things. I took like 5 coats with me. I don't know why. Just like being from Colorado, going to Montana, I'm like, it's going to be cold. It wasn't cold, but.
Was it everything that you expected it to be? I know you and I talked about the opportunity of going to Montana and how cool it sounded.
Billings was different. Billings is a lot like Grand Junction. It's you don't think of Montana. Montana's only mountainy for the west quarter of it.
Sure.
The whole east 3/4 of the state is like flat farmland. That's it. There ain't shit out there.
How
I
are the
drove 2
people?
hours east of Billings. There's nothing.
How are the people?
Super nice. Super nice. They give you a little bit of a side eye when you say Colorado.
Sure.
And you're like, I'm not one of those Coloradans.
Right. How are the
I'm not California Coloradan.
California? Yeah. How are the trades? Were they like their approach? Was it different? Was it more prideful than the Colorado tradespeople? Equal? How was it?
I would say a little more prideful. It's just smaller. It's way smaller. Like all the guys that met, like the plumber on site had worked with this company, Dick Anderson, 5 or 6 separate times. Like there's only 1 million people in the state. Their biggest city is Billings at 200,000 people is your biggest city. So, there's not as much opportunity to, maybe mess some stuff up and go somewhere else. And then everything's super far apart. Like all the big cities, like, Bozeman's 3 hours from Billings. Big Sky's 2 hours from there. Everything's way far apart. So if you mess up something and you're like a small contractor in Billings, then there's nowhere else to go, man. Or you're going to be commuting a long ways.
The word gets out.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Colorado 20 years ago.
Nice.
It reminded me a lot. Like it's just a little more down home attitude or thought process.
How is
But
that?
the mountains, yes.
Yeah. How was that getting like industrial in Montana? I guess, is there a pretty big pool of people that can do that work, or is it a small community?
It's pretty small. Like Moltz, the GC I'm with out here, was actually supposed to do that project up there. There's like Moltz, Dick Anderson does some, Garney. There's not a lot of like, because especially in like the water world, everybody specialized. So like the crew I'm working with out here has done like 7 or 8 back-to-back-to-back wastewater treatment plants. That's all they've been doing. So I feel like they have specialized crews. Like the one I was working with Billings was raw water, where they take, like river water and make it drinking water. But Dick Anderson had done like 3 of those back-to-back-to-back.
Do they keep the same teams, or
Yep.
do they okay. So everyone knows each other pretty well?
Yep. Yeah, like the guys I was working with in Montana, they were from like most like 5 hours, 5.5 hours northwest of there, or wherever. Yeah, they just commute, live on the road. Dick Anderson, wherever they have a project, rents like 2 or 3 houses, and they all just kind of move as a team. So,
hey, you gotta like your.
But there was a lot of young guys. I mean, I think the oldest guy out there working in the field was like 35. Except for one, there was one old guy that was like 60.
So do you mostly interact with the GC then, or do you talk to the crews and not direct, but do you interact with the crews?
I talk with them a little bit. It's mostly with the GC, mostly with the soups and all that. I try to be friendly with the crew, but now that I'm an inspector, I'm not the enemy, but I'm the narc.
Enemy numero uno.
Shit, Logan's coming over here.
On him.
Yeah. At least you.
But no, I try to be like, hey guys, like that ain't right. You want to fix it? Like, it's not like, you're gonna fix it regardless of what I say, but I'm gonna try to be nice about it.
Sure.
And help you out before you have to do it twice.
Have you had any hard moments where you were like conflicted in your head? You're like, shit, if this was me, I'd tell me to pound sand.
There's been several. It's a different way of thinking. I was like, fuck, it's done. It's good. It'll work great for 400 years. Nobody will ever know. It was actually a handrail, stainless steel handrail going to these chem basins. And I'm like, they just look shitty. Like, you got to fix them. They just look shitty. Bad welds, like not bad welds, but not like, what was it? $100 a linear foot for the pipe type of welds that you want on there. And I'm like, and actually Dave from the garage kind of helped me with this. And Dave had a good comment of helped me think about it, was like, there's not a lot of pretty to the building. The little tiny things are what they're looking at for pretty. the welds on the handrail, or, the finish of the concrete, or how this piping looks, because they don't have, it's like an apartment building where you don't see the back of house shit. Like, no, it can be ugly. Like, the fact that we put LVT in those is shocking sometimes, because who gives a shit? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like all the little goofy details that before you kind of like, yeah, it doesn't, nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to know. It'll hold fine. It's, structurally it's fine. It just doesn't pass the, it's not.
It's just not right.
Yeah.
It's not right to leave something half-assed. But those
Yeah,
conversations
like,
are sometimes hard.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it looked fine. It didn't look terrible, but it didn't look great. And I'm like, guys, they're paying a lot of money for this custom chunk of handrail. I'm like, you need to make it look what they paid for.
Right.
Because that's everything we do is kind of back house. Like, nobody really sees it except for the maintenance techs. You're not taking a daily stroll along your wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
It's a little odoriferous.
Yeah.
But it's what matters to them. And at the end of the day, they're the ones that are going to hire us back.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's 100% of your job, right? It's just quality. Whether you can see it at the end of the day or not, it needs to be right. Any other pieces of advice? You mentioned trying harder in school, or doing better in school.
Yeah. Study more,
Study more.
I kind of wish
Oh, there's that big old water jug.
I guess I did the trade route, but thinking I didn't, when I was in high school, I didn't think about what I was going to do after high school. I didn't think, I skated through high school so hard. All my friends were upperclassmen. I skipped every class I could when they were leaving early and stuff like that. And I was just like, yeah, whatever, like, shit'll work out. And then I was, a little bit of a mechanic in high school, and I was, just study harder and, try to pick a direction. Even if you don't want to go, and I would say nowadays, if you don't have a specific thing that you're going to go to college for, don't do college just to do college. And I know it's, counter to what I was taught. It was everybody go to college. And I'm like, well, don't go get I know multiple people with $80,000 criminal science degrees because they were going to go be cops or lawyers or whatever, and they didn't, and they never used that degree. I'm like, well, that's a lot of money to go just basically up. Yeah, you have the piece of paper, will help you get a job. I feel like companies are starting to kind of rotate away from that because just, the market's flooded with college degrees now. That doesn't really set you out as much as it used to. So it's like, yeah, go do a trade. You can do a trade. You'll get paid learning. If you don't like it, switch. I mean, I've had a lot of different jobs. If there's anybody to say, if you don't like it, change it, then it's me. Because I was like, yeah, well, this ain't gonna be what I'm gonna do for life. So let's try something else.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people. Switching jobs is not like stress free, right? You're kind of starting over. It's all new people. It's a new position. You gotta get the training. You gotta get all the basics down. How is that? How is that for you? I mean, since you have had so many different jobs, you must be getting used to it, getting some sort of comfortability with changing companies.
Not particularly. It's always like interviewing is super stressful. Like, you're trying to put yourself out there. It's always so hard. And I've always found it hard to sell myself. Like, I'm not a big one to brag, like, to my own horn. I'm like, I show up, I do my job. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be out there. I'm not the guy out there, trying to say I'm the best of everything. And like, you learn every day. You'll always learn every day. If you're not learning, then you're doing something wrong. It's gotten, I guess, less stressful just because I have done it, but it's still extremely stressful. I mean, and the one thing I will say is always be trainable. What you do at one place is maybe not the way it's done here, or it's slightly different, or, Don't just come and say, here's how I did it. Here's how it's going to be. It's like, no, you got to be trainable. You got to be willing to learn because companies have systems in place after a lot of trial and errors. Like a lot of things have happened to have for a company to go and put something straight hard in writing or the way they operate because they've seen in whatever field they're in, they've seen it happen. Something happen so many times that they're like, all right, now we got to operate this way.
Do you think that that's almost to a fault sometimes? All these policies and checks and balances and
I do feel like there's certain things that they're pretty hardcore about that I don't fully understand. I do feel like what was one I was thinking about a couple weeks ago? Oh, it's like the glove policy. We have a 100% glove on policy as soon as I leave the trailer. I am not a fan, but I'm going to abide by it. But in my role, if I'm out there getting cut, then I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. And I get it. They just said, too many people are getting cut, blanket for the whole corporation. Okay. But does it make sense? No. Like wearing gloves full time, like they're hot. I hate them. I didn't wear gloves when I was a mechanic. Probably why I got the shakes from it. My hand.
For those people that don't know or that think that they want to do something, what are the shakes?
So I got essential tremors from being a mechanic because I didn't wear gloves, and it also happens if you get enough, because oil contains a lot of heavy metals, a lot of chemicals, brake clean, parts cleaner, all that. So basically the chemicals absorb through your skin, and I have degeneration of my spinal column at the base of my spine, basically. Now it's gotten better. It's growing back a little bit, but I'll always have, I always shake, especially early in the mornings. Like if I'm trying to drink a cup of coffee, dude, I look like Michael J. Fox out there just shaking my life away. So that's one of the unfortunate things that I got from that.
That is unfortunate. Is there anything that you would have done differently, or is it just kind of an inevitable? Oh my goodness, inevitable thing?
If you wear gloves, it'll help a lot. It'll help. When I was a mechanic, they didn't have the nice black Gorilla gloves that don't tear. There's all those blue little nitrile things that you sneeze near and they blow apart.
Yeah, you gotta twist a nut and the blue, your finger pops out. Yeah.
Yeah. In 3 minutes, you're working with rags and your fingers are dirty anyways. I was like, it was pointless. And nowadays with the new gloves, I would definitely wear them or try to break myself into wearing them.
Yeah.
Just be a little more conscious. I mean, in your 19, 20, 21, you're invincible. Nothing can hurt you. Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Yes, it can. The transfer cases that I threw up on my back at F-350s and walked over to that bench to work on, my back is starting to be not happy with that.
Yeah.
Your warranty expires after 35, so you gotta get ready for it.
At that point, you just, if it stops working, just cut it out.
If you could, man. But then you look at all, my dad just had back surgery. You look at these guys and, they'll have surgeries. And then 10 years later, it's broke again. And it's like, well, I don't really want to do a surgery.
No, you don't recover as easily once you get to whatever age,
No. You hear people with knees and hips and stuff. And it's like, those are only good for 10, 15 years tops.
Yeah.
Then you get a new one in 50. I mean, I don't know. I wish I would have taken better care of my body and been less pig-headed about it.
Yeah.
And I actually listened to somebody who's like, why are you doing that? Instead of just because I can. It's like, well, that's dumb.
Yeah. So, I mean, to that point, though, of why are you doing that, what would you tell a young guy that's getting into the trades, whether it's mechanic, it's logging, it's being a superintendent, being a carpenter, what have you? What would you tell a young person, a young lady or a young man?
Show up on time. Always be working. It doesn't matter. There's always something to do. There's always something, especially in construction. there's always something to clean, something to organize, there's always some little thing you could be doing. And, just work hard. Oh, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's like showing up, and that's the biggest one that gets me is like, just come to work every day that you're expected and just be on time. Like, that's step one. Should be super easy. Some people really struggle bus with it, and I don't know why. I mean, it's.
Can you hear him?
No.
We lost your audio.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, you're back.
But yeah, I mean, that's basically what I did for the first time.
Can you repeat the last 20 seconds? We lost your audio.
Where'd your camera go, Nick?
So where'd you lose me at?
I don't
Make
know.
more money, buy scratchers.
My scratches.
No, just show up, work hard, and ask questions. I mean, just show up every day. I always told guys too, I'm like, you don't have to be the fastest. Just consistently work.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of traits required from depending on what trade you go into. Management's obviously a different set of skills and traits than boots on the ground. And then if you're comparing like a framer to a carpet guy, like there's a very wide range of skills and traits. Dependability is number one for everyone. Everyone we've had on the podcast has said dependability. I need you to show up on time every day that you're supposed to be at work. Number one, hands down. Just honesty, integrity would be a close second. That everyone, you can cut a lot of corners in this industry, and it always will come out eventually. You can't hide it forever. Something's going to happen down the road, and it's going to come back on you. So you always want to be honest and have high integrity with the people that you're working for. One thing that I've always but admired from you, Logan, is just your knowledge, man. And that must be from the wide range of experience. You're obviously a very smart guy. But yeah, you have just the random knowledge that I'm like, holy shit, how does he know all this stuff? Do you think that's from your experience?
Learn through a lot of hard lessons in life on that one. Just like, yep, don't do that again.
Yeah, it's impressive, just the base of knowledge that you have, and I've always admired that out of you. Do you think? This is a question we usually ask at the end of the podcast. Would you change anything, career-wise for yourself? I guess.
No.
Do you look back and say, I appreciate all these lessons that I've learned, all this knowledge that I've gained over time, or would you give some of that up to change?
No, I would keep it as is. I mean, I've worked a lot of different jobs. I've worked with a lot of great people, met a lot of great people, got to do a lot of interesting things. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's, the experiences that you've had in the past, you wouldn't be the same if you changed it, right? So you would be, doing this or that. So I'm happy with the experiences I've had in the past. What I've done, it's been, it's always a road. You don't know what's 5 years out or 10 years out or 15 years out. Life always changes. And it's always, it's always been fun to kind of go, all right, like I would like to be, maybe not doing the exact same thing for 10 years, but doing something along these lines. And then my life has gone like, oh yeah, no, you're going to do something else. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's check that out too. We'll see what's on the other side of that one. The grass isn't always greener, but there's different views out there.
And
you look at different grass.
You kind of have to take things as they come a little bit too. Life happens and opportunities arise and other opportunities close, and it's you kind of have to take it what it is. Yeah, I know you've been talking about this current role for a while, so congratulations on getting that role you've been gunning for. And
Appreciate it.
yeah, sounds like it's going well, and happy for you.
Yep, it was I don't know. It was one of those, like, if I've always wanted to travel, now's my opportunity. I got nothing tying me down. It's like I might as well, got to strike while the iron's hot with that one, because I was like, I don't know when an opportunity will come up again.
Are you homesick, or do you feel at home right now?
I got a little, well, I don't know if it was homesick or cabin fever, because I was in a hotel for 2 months in Billings. That gets a little, I was like, I'm ready to be anywhere but here.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. At the end of the day, like, I rented a house here. I got what I need. That's what I told my family. I'm like, I might not come back to my house for 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not really homesick. I mean, nothing. I mean, just got out onto the adventure and gonna see what's out here and just try to explore as much as I can everywhere I go.
Yeah. I mean, it goes kind of hand in hand with what Nick said. The short time that I got to chat with you and got to know you, like, in person, every single person that talks about Logan is like, the dude just knows so much random shit. And he knows so much stuff. And I think with this experience that you have, you're just going to be able to, like, gain that much more knowledge just because you have a great opportunity.
It's definitely a lot of learning. The good or the bad of it was working with all engineers is I work with some insanely smart people. My first day out here, we did a tour with the PM of this project, and he just got promoted to our wastewater engineer for the company. And the dude was talking. I'm like, you got to slow down, man. I'm like, I caught 2% of what you're saying.
I can't even pronounce these words.
I was like, what? Like, I know concrete and rebar. I'm like, you're getting into the biologics of it and how. I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about, bro. Like, and I'm working with some extremely intelligent people. They like to, as they say, nerd out on it. Now, I've had to ask them a couple times, like, hey, you got to dumb it down to a non-engineer mind here. Like, just pretend I'm a dumb broom pusher here and don't, like, pretend I haven't done this before. Explain to me like I'm 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
But yeah, and then, so far with this company, it's been a lot of resources.
That's cool.
I mean, I just did a hour and a half training day on Bluebeam. I learned stuff on Bluebeam I never knew before.
That's awesome. That's
That's
such a cool reset.
It's been, yeah, it's been pretty interesting. I mean, we have our own AI.
What does that mean?
We, through Gemini, that's the Android one, right? Or the Google.
Mm-hmm.
We have an in-house AI that can work and has access to all our databases. And can work because we also work on, like, federal projects, so a lot of it's, like, secret. Can't disclose. It's got, can't be outside of the organization. So we have an internal AI based off of Gemini that we run, like, 3D calcs and stuff through and generate models. Which, I was kind of teasing one of the engineers I met. I'm like, isn't that going to replace your job in like 5 years?
Yes.
Did he like
He's like, well, no. And I'm like, well, yeah.
AI is a wild thing.
Love it or hate it, at the end of the day, I mean, if you're working with numbers, data entry, math, AI is probably going to take you out.
Are you worried about your position?
No, until I get a robot that can walk around the job site.
Nope, you need a 12-inch splice. Nope, that looks like shit. Nope. Try again.
Yeah, maybe in 10, 15 years, if we don't get terminated, we'll be fine. I might worry, but
that's funny.
I don't know. AI's, I don't know. AI seems to grow faster in, like, making fake videos than anything else I see.
I mean, are they fake at this point? I don't know. I'm confused.
I was using ours and I was typing in prompts and I was getting stuff back and I'm like, this is not helpful at all.
Nick came into the trailer the other day and he goes, I just talked with Gemini on my entire drive down. I was like, what? You could talk to AI now? It's a full-on conversation. Like the
Dude,
dialogue,
really-
the pause.
It's integrated to like the CarPlay. So
Really?
I just hit the button on the truck and she's like, "How can I help you today?" Yeah, I don't know. I was just checking it out. It is mind-blowing.
It is. I mean, that one of the slogans was, if you're not using AI every day, you're behind, which agreed. It can definitely be helpful in areas.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I've learned is you got to prompt it right. And that's where I kind of struggle,
Sure.
and that's just me being kind of a Luddite in my life. But yeah, it'll be in everything here soon. I mean, it already is.
It is in everything.
It's just going to grow and do more. I mean, I don't know what, obviously your guys' jobs will be safe for, ever managing people. Robot's never going to be able to manage people.
Don't see how it could do our job, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't.
There's just,
I mean, you'd have to have a fully robotic staff out there. It'd be the only way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we like to think that it could just be like plan, result, but that's just not the reality of the industry. There's so many human components and elements that go into what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be hard.
Oh yeah, and it's and it's everybody's like, AI can, it thinks faster than humans. I'm like, yeah, but it can't take in all the random little tiny bits of knowledge the human body can gather up. You walk out on site and a board's crooked. The AI says it's a 2x4, slams it into place. Like, or there was mold on it, or it was rot, or the concrete was lumpy. I mean, there's just so many factors. I don't think you can take the human component out of construction.
No, I agree.
Logan,
you can take.
Sorry, go ahead.
You can take it out of like office work and busybodies. Like data entry. Data entry is gone. I think lawyers. Somebody just won a lawsuit based off of a AI case, so lawyers are going to be gone here soon.
Could you imagine showing up? Where's your representation? And you just pull out your computer.
Here's Gemini. Gemini told me to say this. Yeah, I don't know. That's scary. I don't know.
There's probably something that we're missing though, that lawyers are like, oh, these dumb knuckle draggers, they can't do X, Y, and Z.
I just find it scary because there's no human compassion to it. If you just do data's hard truths.
Yeah, ruthless.
Yeah.
Hey, I was going to ask you, what is your proudest moment in your career?
Proudest moment in my career was probably getting TCO on Riverwalk South.
And why is that?
Because I joined up the super for that building, quit 2 weeks after I joined. He put in his 2 weeks notice basically the day I joined up. It was me and Steve. Rick was running the north. And I basically came from custom homes and took it. They were already into drywall. Framing was done. Roof was on. But I took, from drywall through finishes, mostly just me. I mean, Luke came on at the end, but he was working on the north. Taylor was there, but he was only there for a little bit before he got canned. But it's basically me and Steve, and basically me just ran that whole thing all the way to the finish. So I felt pretty good coming from a, backwaters custom home builder to all of a sudden being on a big commercial project and being like, oh shit, like it's done. We got it done. Like,
yeah,
holy crap.
That's awesome. Big confidence boost, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was nice. I don't know, every time you get a TCO, it's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's
there's so much work and so much that goes into it that
Feels like the
if
world.
you're not in it every day,
Yeah. Feels
Yeah.
like the weight of the
well,
world's
that's,
lifted off your
everybody's,
shoulders.
people always ask like, oh, how was your day? And you're like, oh, it was not a good one. They're like, well, what happened? And I'm like, I would have to sit down and explain to you for 4 hours to get to where I'm at right now.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, that resonates so good. So good.
I mean, well, yeah,
So
there's
well.
just so much that leads to stuff, and you're like, I can't. It was just bad. I can't explain exactly. Well, they put this pipe in wrong. Well, why is that big a deal? You're like, well, that's not, but this and that and that. It's like, everything layers up.
Yeah.
So I guess to piggyback off of that awesome moment of getting the TCO for Riverwalk South, what is your biggest oh shit moment on the job?
My biggest oh shit moment was the day I scheduled dry sweeping of the Riverwalk South garage the same day Sam scheduled the startup of the DOAS.
Ooh.
And they were starting up the DOAS, and you would walk into the garage, and you probably couldn't see 3 feet in front of your face. The dust was so thick.
Did you waste all those sensors?
They had to they had to take the whole big cooling fin apart, clean it all, go through and clean all the ducts out. I don't know what the final tally was, but I think my job was at risk for several hours.
Oh.
Several hours. That was probably the worst. Tyler came around. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, "Oh no, I'm fired."
Oh, that was today. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Is
that was probably because that just the most monetary wise. Like my stomach just dropped. I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like I'm like, "What did we just mess up?" I don't even know. I'm like, the DOS is the whole building's built around it. You can't even take it out. Like I don't know what we do. That was probably the biggest. Like, oh.
Are you able to
Oh,
laugh
God.
laugh about it now, or is it still kind of like a?
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of those. Like I tell people, like I messed up, and I'm like, but did you mess up as big as me? Like I messed up pretty big.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that sucks.
It's I don't know. It's one of those things for the grace of the management above me that didn't just crucify me for that, even though they would have been right to do. But it was one of those. It was like I will never do that again. I've learned, that's one of the things I've learned too. And I try to teach younger guys. I'm like, mistakes are going to happen. You got to learn from them. Don't create them again, but don't also try to hide them.
Yeah.
Like come out, be honest. Like every time I mess up, I always try to be like, hey, I screwed this up. I messed up. I'm sorry. Like, how can we fix this?
Yeah.
Because the one thing that makes me the most mad is when I have to walk around or I'm walking with my bosses and they find it or we find it together. And then I look like an idiot.
Right. Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Just with that, I guess talking about both sides, super stressful, trying to get to a TCO, and then also during and on that same project having a pretty decent mishap. Have you seen like bad conversations get heated pretty fast on job sites?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, you definitely see the guys that, will spin out quick.
Why is that?
Or it depends on the person. I mean, a lot of them I see is just because personal pride. And when you call out somebody, they feel like they're being personally attacked, even if you're not doing that.
Right.
And I feel that's like people's innate response when you call something out is like, oh, they're attacking me personally. It's like, no, we can't do it like this. Like, it's just not okay. Not you personally, but And then I've also seen you have, and it's kind of going away nowadays, but the hot-headed, screaming, yelling superintendent, which I feel like people were just trained to be that way because the guys above them did it, and the guys above them did that.
Right.
That's what they thought. If you came out and screaming, yelled, you were a good super. And it's like, oh no. Some were good at that scream and yell, but what I saw the most is the people that scream and yelled the most didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
They were loud and they thought they would just intimidate people into getting what they want done.
Yeah, I agree with that. Lack of confidence or lack of knowledge.
Yeah. It's easy to go out and scream and yell at somebody. It's a lot harder, but a lot more productive if you can go out there and have a rational conversation. Be like, no, this is not okay. We're not accepting this. Do you understand why we're not accepting this? Because what's your first reaction if somebody screams and yells at you? You're gonna flip the bird and walk away.
Right.
Hey, I'm not taking this.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, has there been one example of someone going off the wheels where it actually worked in their favor?
Not that I've ever seen. Every time I've seen somebody scream and yell, they scream and yelled. Whoever, if it was the sub dragged up and left. Then you're fighting offices to get people back on site, and then people don't want to work with them. And I've never seen it go. I've never seen it's not it starts off as a bad experience. It's not going to end as a positive experience. It's hard to come around. Now, sometimes is it justified? Yes.
Agreed.
I do think there's times where you have to get heated with people.
Yeah. There's some
But
bonehead
it shouldn't be your default.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Have you seen anybody, Nick, where it worked out in their favor?
I don't think so. No.
It's just a hard thing to. No one's really thinking right.
I feel like it always does more damage than good.
Right.
So you solve the problem in the moment, but yeah, you're just destroying your relationship with whoever you're screaming and yelling at. You're losing their trust. They don't give a shit what you think or want anymore. It does a lot of damage to degrade someone over work.
Yeah.
The only time I think it's acceptable is if there's like an immediate safety concern, and it's like a life-threatening or some sort of extreme danger. Yeah, you can lose your shit to save someone's life.
I would agree. That's there's times it's hard, it's stressful. I get why people blow up. I get it. But you never really blow up at the person you want to blow up anyways. The person that aggravates you is already 40 steps behind you by the time you hit the next problem that really tips you over the scales.
Yeah. Yeah, you're never really thinking straight, It's a terrible place to respond from.
Yeah. It's a hard, stressful industry. It is. There's a reason a lot of people get in and then quickly get out of construction.
Yeah.
There's definitely toxicity in it. There's, you meet the guys on site that can't seem to handle having a girl on site. Like, can't act right.
Yeah.
My dude, it's like, come on, man. Like, you can't act like an adult. You're like, there's going to be, as time progresses, there's only going to be more and more women in construction.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. People do kind of just lose their mind over the simplest, silly things.
Do I like my raunchy jokes now? Then yeah, but you got to pander to the crowd.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And I was working with a company before. We had a bunch of masons go out and whistle at all the girls going into the yoga studio. I'm like, no. Like, what do you know? Why would you even think that's acceptable?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely this industry draws a lot of interesting people from a lot of different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, we're trying to be professional and not a black spot on society. We want to be
No,
upstanding citizens, and we also expect it to go the other way too, because I've heard you say this before, Logan, but sometimes the general public will look at construction workers as second class citizens,
100%.
which is it's a shitty stigma, because there's really good people that work in this industry and people that care, and so I mean, goes both ways to the general public as well. Like, these are people and they deserve your respect as well.
Yep. Well, and I don't know if it's the general public just kind of the only people they really run into and talk with is the more rough and rowdy crowd on the construction side. I feel like those are the people more willing to interact with the public. Like, when I was at work and I would say hi to people and, quick, but I wasn't going to sit there and jibber jabber with them for an hour. Like I've seen certain guys doing, like, dude, like, go back to work, get talking to people. Like,
yeah,
and that's, but you do, I mean, I meet a lot of people and they're like, oh, I'm a felon. And I'm like, I've worked in construction. I met a lot of felons. What of it? Like, turn your life around, get better.
Yeah,
I met a lot of guys, you meet guys from all walks of life, and a lot of them turn their lives around and do, become better people. They're just trying to, get in a field that, love it or hate it, getting into construction is not super hard, right? Like, I go right now and probably get hired in a framing crew in a couple weeks, or get on with a plumber, or, there's a need for it out there. I could find a job.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get into it, but it's like, if you really want to succeed, you got to act professional. You got to carry yourself well. All these, people don't think about it. I mean, construction projects are multi-million-dollar operations. You think they're run by some yahoo out here that doesn't know what's going on, is not intelligent? Like, no, it's run by very smart people doing a lot of very smart work.
It is pretty funny though, like when you're in meetings, and like, to your point of very intelligent people running projects, and some people, this just happened the other day, some people ask, like, did you plan or did you vet X, Y, and Z, like the simplest of things? And you're like, no, actually we just showed up yesterday and we are trying to, like, hobble some plans together. It's even within the industry, like, everyone doesn't really like stop to think about what they're asking. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you
from the hip, bro? From the hip. You don't need to plan it.
We're just fucking.
Are you referring to the phased turnover comment?
Yes.
Questions?
Yes. Have you asked? No, we're like fucking 8
Have
months.
You ran this by the city? No, we're just gonna wing it. We're gonna risk millions of dollars to wing it.
I was just.
Yeah, that's.
I was like, oh shit!
It's all.
Oh no, we need to ask some questions.
Yeah,
I'm just a very sarcastic person too. Yeah, that blew my mind. I guess, speaking of that, have you ever seen a job shut down, or have you ever had to shut a job down?
Why are we going there?
I'm just curious. Logan sent.
I've seen a couple red tag jobs.
Really?
We got shut down at Encore at the beginning because we didn't have our vertical permit yet, and we started going vertical. They were slightly mad about that.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
But that's. I mean, I've been threatened. a couple times. I've been kicked out of a couple job trailers.
Why is that?
For not having generator permits.
No. What do you think that is? Do you think people just get caught up, or do you think they're honest mistakes? What do you think?
I think a generator permit's a cash grab for the fire department, personally. But yeah, it's just one of those, like, certain municipalities do, certain municipalities don't. Like, the first time I heard about it, I'm like, what permit? I'm like, a generator for what? The generator that is going to be running this trailer? I'm like, the prepackaged thing built by a manufacturer that runs houses and stuff because we put it on a job site, it has to be fire inspected. I'm like, what are they going to look at? Yeah, it's a generator. Like, here's your $200 permit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong.
You
Do you
know,
think a
it's-
lot of those are just money, or do you think there's safety elements to it?
Certain ones. I mean, I can understand like inspecting an electrical panel in a trailer, but like we got hit up for not having an exit sign over a door in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a single wide trailer. If I can't find the door that I walk through 42 times a day, I probably shouldn't make it through that one. Like, that's on me.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I feel like more municipalities need to, like, at least statewide, need to gather around and at least get remotely on the same page for what they expect. I mean, it varies widely so much from municipality to municipality, from building to fire to public works to like nobody. What I've learned is nobody in cities talk to each other.
I
They're all
think,
their little islands.
yeah, I mean, it's the people are deciding and reading the same code book, but they are interpreting it differently, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the main reason why.
But yeah, it's always just, you know, how different people do it, and what one municipality cares about, the other one doesn't give a shit about. Like, it's like, can't you guys are all working on the same code book I am. You're going to the same conferences. You guys don't like get on the same page.
Yeah, I think it's a fair
But I
question.
guess that's why they left it open to interpretation, right?
Right.
Because what code is minimum. Everything they can do, anything more stringent they want.
That's true.
But
Logan, if you were to pick a trade to do, what would it be?
looking back now, I would be a new construction plumber.
Really?
Mhm.
Why is that?
New construction, because you don't got to play with the ooky gooky water.
Ooh, ookie
I don't like that
gookie.
stuff. But, you know, it's fairly easy to get into, easy to get your master's, and you can make a lot of money. I mean, the guy I worked with doing custom homes, it was him and one other guy. And I know what we invoiced him. And I know he was probably clearing 200K profit with paying his guy off of doing like 5 custom homes a year.
Yeah.
Not stressful, not gross. Your equipment's cheap. You don't have to buy, all right, you buy a Pro Press. Okay. Not dangerous. You're gluing PVC together for the most part. Now with PEX made it even easier. The only brazing I see in houses when I did custom homes was at the manifold. Super easy to get into, super easy to scale, will always be there. And it's not the hardest work. Like being a Sparky, I feel is harder. There's a lot more to it. You're dealing with electricity that will 100% kill you if you fuck it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought about that a lot when I've been thinking about that for a while. I'm like, man, looking back, I would have gone and got like a CDOT job, driving like a dump truck or something like that for me, or a plow truck. Because I could have retired from that next year with a full pension, then get another government job, retire at 58 with 2 pensions, be set for life.
Yeah.
But about 20 years too late to that mark.
What do you think stopped you? Just not knowing those 2 options, or?
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. And I also looked at they don't make the most money.
Yeah.
But they get yearly increases. They get great. I didn't think about health insurance and dental and vision and all that. I didn't start a 401k till I started working with Confluence.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's when I was like, oh yeah, I am gonna hopefully retire someday. Like, Probably should. So now I have to give more because I was behind the 8 ball. So now I'm full throttle into it.
Right.
But yeah, it's just one of those. And I don't know if you guys had guidance counselors in high school. We didn't really have one. So I was just kind of shit out in the world. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. Like,
Best of luck.
thankfully, with the advent of social media stuff, you can see there's a ton of really cool jobs out there that I never even knew existed.
Yeah. Just in this industry, I don't even know. I don't have a quantity. There's so many though.
Oh yeah. No, there's, polishing concrete, pretty cool job. Probably gets boring after a while, but you can make a lot of money. There's, the guy that polishes glass and charges $500 a pop with no warranty. I mean,
yeah, it's insane.
There's so much specialized that you just don't know is out there.
Yeah, there is a lot of specialty things. I guess I've got one more thing that I'm curious your take on it. How do I ask? What is something in this industry nobody wants to admit?
Something in the industry that nobody wants to admit. That's a tough one.
I got an answer.
Yeah.
People do not want to admit that they don't know something. I think a lot of people struggle with that. And it's just a pride thing. Especially when you're in a leadership role, management role, you just put the pressure of knowing everything on yourself, and it just doesn't bode well from my experience. If you don't know something, you need to say that you don't know. And if you're in that position, you're probably good at finding out answers. So give yourself the minute, 10 minutes, hour, or a full day to go figure out the answer to the question. You don't need to know everything. And you don't know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good one, Nick. I don't know if I can top that. That's super accurate. I mean, I feel like half the problems are people, just not asking the question.
Yeah.
How many little things would be solved? Because it's always, it's never the big problem, right? It's always the little one that comes around the corner out of nowhere. It's like, just do it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's true. Where do you think that comes from? You think it's from pride or fear of retribution, or
I think it's pride.
I
think it's pride. I mean, I don't know anyone that's gotten into trouble for saying, I don't know. I mean, you can definitely be questioned if you don't know certain things in a management role, or if you go talk to a plumber and you're like, what's the slope of this pipe supposed to be? And they're like, I don't know. You're going to be like, what the fuck, dude?
Shit falls downhill.
Flat flows, man. Flat flows.
There's simple knowledge that you should be expected to know, but if it's a complex problem or question, then just say you don't know. Give me 10 minutes, or give me. We have so many resources in construction. I can reach out to an expert with one phone call on any given issue. So say you don't know. Give me 10 minutes. Give me a day. I'll get you the answer. But I think it's mostly pride that leads people to kind of fabricating an answer, I guess, if you want to call it that, or
they don't want to feel dumb.
They don't want to feel dumb.
I think it's pride, and also people don't just stop. Like, there's a lot of people that know or would know if they would just stop. take a second to breathe. My favorite phrase that I hear people say is, let me think about that. Because it just gives everybody the warm and fuzzies, you know, like even if you're the guy asking the question in a manner that like you need an answer now, if someone says, let me think about that, it like makes everybody breathe, you know? You're like, oh, fucking, thank goodness he's thinking about it.
Well, especially it can be hard too. I mean, you're in situations where, you know, you're getting kind of rapid fire questions from 20 different people and you're trying to answer a bunch of different questions. And it's like, who? Like, I don't know. And you don't, you know, and I also feel, you know, you get the pressure of moving stuff along. So you kind of want to move it along. So I feel like people might just say, you know, just do it, just keep it going. It's like, no, it needs to be thought. I mean, a 5-minute conversation or an hour conversation, if it saves, you know, I mean, because I don't know. It's never the big problems seem to get solved. It's always the little problems that sit on the back burner that jump out, and those are the ones that bite you.
Yeah.
You know, it's always, you know, Nick knows this, unfortunately, very familiar. Oh no, we put the wrong sleeves in. What do we do? You know,
There's different kinds of sleeves. No, I'm just kidding.
It had been brought up before, and then it wasn't a problem. Then all of a sudden, it's like, oh shit, it's a huge problem. Oh my god.
We were actually just talking about this, and Cody was like, "How did that happen?" And then I was like, "Well, there was that, and then we also missed all the sleeving for a plumbing stack per unit." Stack. He was like, what? How does that happen? I'm like, I don't really know. It's just a inexperienced plumber. I mean, at the end of the day, was laying all that shit out and no one caught it. It's hard to catch during the pours, but
and maybe it's the thing too. I mean, I feel companies, you know, if you're like a foreman on a site, like you finish up a TCO on one site and all of a sudden you're in the weeds on the next side, right? Like all of a sudden they're in concrete pours.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't give you the time. And I know it happens in the GCN too, of like you don't get into the plans until the day you're showing up.
Yeah, that's tough.
I mean, you know, you don't get the time to kind of, you hit the ground running, but you don't get the time to kind of pre-look and, you know, get some ideas of what's going on. It's just kind of
digest the drawings.
Yeah.
We've talked about this a lot we talked about it at the beginning of the podcast, and we've talked about this, just the three of us, the speed in which we go too. And if you get caught up of just like with some complacency and not like back checking or like gut checking and walking with a new fresh set of eyes, that's how things are missed. Like there's just so many changes, so many things that's going on. It makes sense how something that seems so crazy to miss gets missed, you know?
Well, it makes me wonder, how was construction 20 years ago? You know, there was you had a landline in your trailer and, you know, in your blueprints, and you redlined them some, I guess. But you think construction was always this fast paced, or is construction more pressure and tighter schedules now, or?
Yeah. It's increased exponentially with technology. The speed, the communication, the transfer of information, like it's exponentially different than 20 years ago.
But, you know, the hard part I always saw was getting it into the hands of the guys doing the work. Right? How many times do you pass something off to a foreman and he doesn't pass it off to his guys, and you go out there and you're like, we just talked about this. Like, what are you doing?
I would say recently, like in the last couple of years though, like there's still this stigma of, oh, we need to get like paper sets, or we need to print off the important information for certain individuals. But the reality is that ship is long sailed, in my opinion. Everyone has an iPad, or everyone has somebody on their crew that has an iPad that can show whoever, you know? I think we've lost paper in total. Yep, your phone.
I mean, I'm using Autodesk up here, and I don't know if it, I'm sure a lot of companies don't want, but there should be a setting where you like just the guys in the field get just updated drawings, and that's all they get all the time.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel, maybe they don't understand how to read RFIs. Maybe there's a way to make that more complete. Because, if you don't know the cloud, to refer to an RFI for this and that, because, at the end of the day, when they cloud it, it's really the architect or engineer just not wanting to draw into the plans. It's a time saver for them.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll go away nowadays with AI doing more drawings. Maybe it'll be, maybe they'll be able to incorporate it back into the plans where you won't have to go back to a specific RFI. Maybe it'll actually be like almost real-time updating of prints.
That would be cool. But then that would be a learning curve too,
Yeah.
Where the hell's the squigglies,
I don't know. At the end of the day, I feel, everybody feels doom and gloom about the new generation, but technology-wise, they're amazing. Mm-hmm. Social skills, very lacking. Very lacking. Technology, they kill it.
Yeah.
How many kids do you see that? I've seen so many. Heck, my nephews, they have friends online that they've never met. And they have like full-on text conversations with them online. I don't have the patience to sit there and text somebody that much.
Yeah, that's interesting. Weird.
Yeah, you've seen, like, I'm sure you go out to public places and you see like kids that get together. They're sitting at the same table, but they're like texting or they're on their phone.
Yeah, no conversation. It's so weird. It's so weird.
It is interesting. Yeah.
We are approaching our time here, Logan. Definitely appreciate you coming on. We do like to give our guests just an opportunity to say whatever they want at the end of the podcast. If you want to thank anyone for, opportunities that have come your way, or you want to just send a general message out into the trade world, now is your time for that.
I would just say, if you're a young kid and you don't know what to do in life, the trades have never been brighter. There's more people retiring out every day than joining up. Pay will go up. Job skills, you can get on-the-job training. I mean, it's an interesting field, but I love it, and I wouldn't do anything else at this point in my life. And it's great. You meet a lot of great people. It's a lot of fun conversations. You get to do a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, you get your hands in, people talk big projects. I'm like, most projects I've been on are, over 20 million. You get to deal with some crazy big stuff that you're a piece, and you get to drive by at the end of the day and say, yeah, I helped build that. Like, it's a point of pride in my book. So that's really it, I guess.
It's awesome.
Nothing too profound out of me.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for joining, and it's good seeing you. Glad things are going well.
Yeah, we'll have to freaking chat up here soon. It's been BSing with you guys. I'm all here by myself right now, so
yeah, that's lonely.
Call us up anytime.
I was talking. The wall's getting sick of me talking to it. So
yeah, next time you're in town, let us know. We'll grab a beer.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll maybe end of this month. I gotta see what my next one trip is.
Nice.
Sweet.
So,
well, Logan, thank you for joining. We really appreciate it.
Have a good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah, you too.
Talk soon.